I roll over on the warm sheets, bundled up underneath the thick covers. My feet are a bit cold from the morning frost, but I quickly pull them underneath the blanket. I can feel a little headache coming on, but it's probably from drinking too much the night before. He time traveled.
We're having the vision.
He teleported into an alternate universe where this all worked out. And nothing went wrong. I wiggle out from under the covers and roll over so I'm facing the window. Hi!
That's such a bar reveal.
A funny reveal. I'm also a little amused that just the background makes it impossible to face the window from the bed. I was wondering why he wasn't in bed, but thankfully he's standing by the window. The fire from last night has gone out. The ash is dimly lit with a soft orange glow. A few logs have been thrown on top, but they haven't been lit yet.
Sorry, does he have to be naked in this? Can he just wear underwear instead of the sensor bar? I can't. It's very distracting.
No, he's having a vision of his beautiful, almost husband just walking around casual nudity style.
Also, for clarity, Keith, you added the sensor bar, correct?
Yes.
Oh, oops, sorry, never mind.
No, I know the game had nudity in it, so I went through the Lyle sprites and just drew a square over them.
I thought the AppMac had...
You need a big square for all of that.
So much square, yeah. Oh, this is too spicy for YouTube. You know he's an ass man because he gave Lyle ass highlights? In addition to the shape. Lyle gazes out the window with a smile on his face. He's completely nude. Oh, we noticed. But after what we did last night, it doesn't shock me at all. In fact, it's a welcome sight. His beautiful dick hangs in front of his body along with his balls.
Gotta get all the nooks and crannies visible in your mind's eye.
I'm sorry. It was along with his balls that broke me. It was those were also there, like usual. Just so we're clear, it's like, oh, I'm glad the continuity of the dream is maintained. It's not like forgetting bits. Resting between his legs as he stands, putting more weight on one leg than the other. I shouldn't be ogling him like this, but he's just too gorgeous inside and out. You should be ogling
You're allowed
like
to.
this. You are literally allowed
that's the correct move.
That is the normal. Like, people don't just accidentally be naked around the guy that they had sex with last night. Like, that's that's a move. That's intentional. His strong muscles are well defined in the morning light, and his long brown fur shines with golden glow. His toned arms match his legs, and I even get a glimpse at his rear. Just a glimpse. It's a funny sprite choice to say this about. While his tail swishes from side to side. Thinking about what he did with it last night, I wonder if I'll ever be able to pleasure him in that way. Thinking about what he did with it last night, I wonder if I'll ever be able to pleasure him in that way.
He's wondering if he can bottom.
He did, though.
No, he...
No,
well,
he can
Richter
bottom.
is wondering, yeah.
If Richter can... Oh. Yeah, I was like...
I don't think he wants to. That's why he didn't.
I take another look at his shaft to conclude that I'll need more preparation than he did with me. I see you were appraising my shaft.
Like fucking Oblivion NPC.
Just locks eyes with you, the camera zooms in too much, and they just have this unblinking stare directly into your... Speaking of characters that are too good at eye contact, the entire cast of Oblivion just terrifying you as the game dolly zooms at them every time they talk to you. It's like you're being sucked into their soul. It's terrifying. I didn't question it as much because it was my first open world RPG ever, I think. But ever since, I've been like, why is it like that? No game is like that. Ugh. As I this is the dumbest niche ever point to make, but it's like specifically cinematography about how people talk to each other is always like you do like a shot, reverse shot, camera composition where specifically people are looking off to the side at the implied direction of where the other person is and so on. Like, you know, you've played a BioWare game before and so on. Like, characters look at each other at an angle and you don't normally look back and forth with them first person. We wouldn't get used to that cinematic language until the vlog, which at the time of Oblivion coming out, or being developed at least, didn't exist yet. Like, vlogs as we knew it took off during and after the Oblivion being a playable video game. So it's like they were just full on just like carving their own course in that game, not accounting for any conventional wisdom or good advice. Like they saw those animated sprites in Fallout 1 and thought that was the only way to do it and just went for it. Anyway, that was my Oblivion tangent. As I stare, he notices me and turns away from the window. The light casts a warm glow around him as he smiles.
Good morning, my lord. I couldn't help but notice you staring. I love this is such like porn dialogue. Could there be something you need from me? Spreads legs, like wobbles back and forth.
Very, I feel like an out of place scene after what we just had.
Ball bouncily. No, he's fantasizing.
He's
just
guess.
desperately trying to dream of anything else happening. He says this with a tone of levity, giving me an exaggerated bedroom eyes as he struts over to the bed. This is objectified Lyle. It's the Lyle that's in Richter's mind. His tail swishes back and forth as he walks over. I can't help but let out a laugh. Haha, very amusing. Did I call upon a knight or a jester? Damn. He releases a fake gasp and smirks.
How dare you mock me in such a way? If I were a jester, my lord father would be furious. If he got word that his only son was prancing around in tights and making jokes.
He throws himself onto the bed, his weight causing me to rise in the air slightly before resting back down on the heavy mattress.
He'd strip me of my lands and all of that other nonsense.
Strip, haha. He lays his arm over my chest, his head resting on the pillow next to mine. His fur is messy and needs to be brushed. I'd like to see you prance around in tights.
Oh, would you?
I bet you'd look really nice as I pull you out of them.
Oh, now I'd really like that.
He whispers this, his voice soft and sweet. I feel him rub his paw further down my body, running over my stomach and landing on my thigh. This sends chills all throughout my body. He quickly grabs me with his other arm and pulls me closer to him. My backside is now firmly pressed against his pelvis, and I can feel him rubbing against me. His head gently rests behind mine, and I hear him whisper in my ear.
Beautiful.
You're beautiful. This sends a shiver up my entire body, and I gently rub back into him.
I'm all yours, Richter.
He runs his paws up and over my chest, grabbing where he can.
So long as every last inch of you is my... Wow, that's phrasing.
Uh-huh. Rubbing his padded fingers over my nipples, his hot breath puffs against the back of my neck. His nose buries itself into my hair, and he takes a deep breath, squeezing me harder as he does. I'm already hard, but this sends me past where I thought my limit was. I turn my head and place a kiss on his face. I love you, Lyle. Oops. I was waiting for it. I was like, there's gonna be a, it's gonna get torn away all at once. The cold air wraps around my feet like a thick cloth. It hurts to open my eyes, but they stay open anyway. I pull the cloth tighter around me and realize that it doesn't feel like Lyle at all. Tears start to form in the corner of my eyes, a few of them streaming down the side of my face. I try to close my eyes in the hopes that I can pick up where my dream left off. I now realize that this is the first pleasant dream I've had in a long time. As my body succumbs to exhaustion, a thought enters my mind. I should have asked the headsman if he knew how Lyle was doing. I had an interesting idea, maybe, where I was like, that would have been an interesting way to start the scene. Like if you started off with that dream and then he wakes up and then he meets the headsman, you're like, oh, like the starkness.
Like
of
a
that.
real, yeah.
Like that would have been an
contrast.
interesting way of having it play out, as if if the Richter part 3 Richter opens with the dream and you don't know what's going on at first, and then it cuts to the prison.
Yeah.
And the executioner walks in would be quite a way to open the chapter, as opposed to checking in and being like, "Yep, still in prison. Yep, still should train," and like kind of checking boxes. Chapter 11, day 37. What? Oh, I took the transition. Here. Well timed. I've avoided sleep for the past few days. Or rather, sleep has been avoiding me. No matter how much I yearn or how hard I try, it always seems to be just out of reach. The tender feeling of resting my body into the warm embrace of unconsciousness feels like a distant memory. Hope turns to sand, falling between my fingers, and my determination is like the flame of a candle. I can't let it go out, though. It feels like the only thing I have left of myself. It feels like it's been ages since I've closed my eyes. My eyelids feel like dry leather, and the eyes beneath them burn with searing pain. Reality feels like a blur. It might not go there, but I'm confused. Saying that sleep is eluded. If you have a character, if you do a chapter transition, then a character wakes up and says sleep's eluded me at least the last few days, that implies that it has been days since the last chapter, right?
Yeah.
Because that implies that he didn't talk to the executioner, which makes him a weird character to introduce with the whole sprite and everything. Because all it did was prompt him to acknowledge that he struggles mourning for death. But maybe it's like a misphrasing, and maybe the executioner's gonna be here today. It would be weird to set up the executioner and be like, I'll be here for 3 days, and then not have him come each day and have a chat and have a scene play out. Because the one scene we got with him isn't really worth having a character for. He could have, like, acknowledging his struggle with death is entirely internal anyway. He could just have that thought anyway. I feel a similar feeling to when I wake up from a strange dream. It takes a moment to process everything around me. Even without any sleep, I can still dream. My eyes are open and I'm wide awake, but I still dream. I dream of Lyle, stripped of his armor and thrown before the steps of the throne. His scar over his eye bleeds, dripping blood onto the branches of the throne. Each drop sprouts a flower, blooming a beautiful crimson color. When the blood is spent, the flowers wilt. With that, a knife slides between my ribs. I dream of Liz, clad in the armor of an angel. She rides a bear, eyes black as night and fur matted with blood. Her gaze is cold and conflicting. Again, lightning strikes outside the window as my rack of antlers rip through the drapes. Then I dream of Raynar. He stands before a window, left antler made of gold, his towering figure bathed in red light from the flames below. A long, slender sword falls from his hand, clattering on the floor. Cold steel drags across my throat. My dreams have slowly begun to merge with my visions. Like the mind's eye, they all swirl into a spiral, mixing together like a whirlpool, dragging me down deeper and deeper into the chasm of the past. The visions mock me as I seek out answers. I'm too stubborn to realize that I'm already out of time, I suppose. The day of the trial has arrived, and I'm still no closer than I was 9 days ago. I can't help but wonder if I would be closer if I'd not tried to rush things. Dwelling on it won't do me any good, though. I'm sorry,
Curious, but I think
Titan.
that did basically confirm that, yeah, it's been 3 days. Didn't talk to the husband.
Yeah, odd. Huh. There's a long silence followed by a ringing in my ears. At first I think they're just not going to respond, but after a few moments they let out a reply.
Don't.
They're muffled, almost like they're talking into a pillow. Tigran? Are you even there? After a long moment of silence they respond, this time a bit more clear.
Yes. I'm still here, but not for long.
I can hear an uneasy tone in their voice as the words catch in their throat. What do you mean? The trial is today. This time their tone is a bit more stern.
It's our connection. It's growing weaker by the day.
Our connection? I think back to when they were first beginning to reach me. It seemed like forever ago, but in reality it's only been a few weeks. Their voice was so muffled, and sometimes I barely noticed them. Why is our connection weak? Will it get better? Tigran takes a deep breath and answers. They sound like they're on the other side of a door.
It's not your fault at all.
Not the question that I asked.
The fault lies entirely with me. The reason our connection is growing weak is because I've been pushing you. I wanted to make sure that you would have enough time to train, but I also wanted you to play it safe. I now realize that I've only made things worse.
Don't say that. I can feel that I'm getting close. With just a few more tries, I'm sure I'll be able to figure this all out. I try to put out an optimistic attitude, but it comes off more as false hope. I'm sure they can sense that.
You don't need to reassure me. If one thing is true, it's the fact that I failed you.
Damn.
Nobody has ever trained as hard and as fast as you have.
You are so cool, Richter, the protagonist of Lyre. I love you so much. You're amazing. No one's ever been as much of a protagonist as you.
Literally, like... You have more
Thanks for fucking nothing, Tigran.
You have more potential than I've ever imagined.
There is... You harp on it, but I do get it. Like, there is an element of, like, Richter always being almost, like, supernaturally capable. Like, he's super good at the vision thing, apparently, and he's good at clapping back, and he's super
even the
clever.
last time we talk about it, it's like, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it, actually.
Yeah, and he's super good at sex, and he's so hot and charming. He's, like, he always does everything right, but in the scenes we get, he doesn't really seem like he plays politics like a game, or like he's that committed to training. He's almost exclusively defined by how much he doesn't feel like training, and is kind of being like petulant and whiny about the whole thing when it's his one when he really needs to lock in. Like, he's refused to lock in. It's like, wow, you've done incredible. I'm like, what? That's not what the text has said the whole time. But we're always told that he's like super cool. And it's like,
Doesn't feel
But Tigran, I'm mostly just like, can you please tell us a single concrete thing about any of this? Like, what do you mean our connection is getting weaker? What do you mean? Like,
yeah.
What are your rules, Tigran?
Yeah, we asked the question of, like, it's like, what do you mean it's getting weaker? Will it get stronger?
It's not your fault. It's not your fault, by the way.
Yeah, he says it's not our fault. And I'm like, that's not the question I asked. Answer the question. Why don't people answer questions in this game?
My power is simply not what it used to be. It wasn't enough.
I stand up and walk over to the window, resting my arms on the stone, a cold stone in the opening. What do you mean by that? If anything, you could have if anything, you've given me a chance. Something I have to admit.
Like, in past scenes, we're just, like, belittling him. It's like, oh, I'm just your puppet. I'm just your X, Y, and Z. And now it, like...
Yeah.
just-
He's just always contrarian. He always has to argue the opposite point.
Yeah.
Even with all the rules and restrictions put on their power and all the knowledge that they have to keep themselves, they've only been trying to help me. But I also can't help but remember that this relationship goes both ways. They're helping me so I can do their bidding. I can't help but wonder, why me? I know I wasn't exactly chosen, but it feels odd that all of this would start to happen the moment I end up in this position. Coincidental even.
I only mean that I'm limited in my ability, but it's because of a sacrifice I had to make.
Sacrificing what? I think back to Alverton, the monkey from the vision I had, and I feel a lump form in my throat.
Nothing like that, I assure you.
They read into my mind again. I'm a bit used to it by now, but not entirely numb to the feeling. Then again, the thought of them sacrificing Alverton was almost as intrusive as Tigran is.
My powers were once beyond your comprehension. I was on a similar standing with the higher gods.
Their voice wavers, and it's like listening to them while my ears are clogged with water.
We were all creators in our own right, controlling laws and ideas, helping the world turn. It sounds less interactive than the role I play now, I understand, but the power was immense. However, it was nothing without control. Like a farm, crops can grow and animals can breed, but it will always need a farmer. Someone to control and guide. I was the first of the gods to realize this.
Hearing them speak of the higher gods causes me to feel a bit sick. Trying to understand it all is a bit easier as time goes on, but the overwhelming feeling of it never really goes away. The sacrifice that they mentioned also doesn't leave my mind. The sacrifice you made, does it have anything to do with Alverton?
It was for Alverton. I sacrificed my power for Alverton and the world he knew. The state of the world was heading down a path of decay, and I knew I had to do something. I brought it to the attention of my fellow gods. What does this have to do with what we're doing right now? They were quite content with seeing things play out, knowing that they could always start over. I was not willing to settle for such an outcome.
I hear a distant rumbling sound, and I cannot determine if it's coming from within my head or somewhere outside.
I propose giving up most of my power and freedom in order to give the world a second chance. With this trade, I would be allowed an avatar, a mortal vessel which I would be able to use as an emissary of sorts. They would be able to understand past mistakes and pave a path for a brighter future. They would act as a guide for the world, and I would act as a guide for them.
Thank you for answering my questions, but why are you telling me about all of these other things?
This is.
Yeah, but afraid you didn't answer my questions, but what's all this? This sounds pretty important, but what?
It feels like this could have just come up earlier anyway, instead of now.
I tell you this because it is relevant.
Is there any way I can stop our connection from growing weaker? Can you do anything about it?
Yes. That sacrifice I made for Alverton, I'm going to make a similar sacrifice for you.
I used to have 12 arms. What?
Why is the connection growing weaker? We're just solving it, but like, why is it? Is it like, don't think too much about it. The ribbon that binds us is weakening, and I need to take action. You've done your part to get us out of this situation, so allow me to do mine. What do we do?
What are you going to do? What are you talking about? Someone's gonna come down here for me any minute now. I need you.
Don't worry. I'm just going to consult with the higher gods.
Their voice becomes more and more distant, and I can't help but feel like I'm losing a part of myself.
If everything goes the way I plan, you'll come out of this with your head still on your shoulders. I will be back. Please take care and trust in me.
I step away from the window, eyes looking up into the air as if they were standing right there.
You have to believe me when I tell you that everything will turn out okay.
No. Well,
even if it seems like it won't, you have to have faith.
Their voice trails off with each word. You don't have to do this. I'm close, I can... Tigran? There's no response. For the first time in weeks, my mind feels empty. I clumsily sit down on the cold slab of stone. The silence is almost numbing. It's like a weight was lifted off my chest, but something inside of me was taken along with it. Tigran. I still receive no response. This can't be happening. No, no, no. Please tell me this isn't happening. It's not even the fact that they're gone. As abrupt as it was, I know they'll be back. They said they would. The problem that circles my mind now is that they're about to do something drastic. How is it going to affect things? Can I still even use my powers? Before I can even feel like I'm closing my eyes, my consciousness jumps from one point to another, and a slight feeling of relief washes over me. It does nothing to quell my anxiety, though. The colorful walls of the chasm dance by as I stand there in the midst of it all. Winds of shimmering dust fly by at a similar speed to when I first arrived, only reminding me of just how stressed I truly am. Huh. I'm confused. So... it felt like a contrivance to suddenly introduce that Tigran's leaving and us behind and we're losing his guidance. But Tigran doesn't tell us anything.
No.
So Tigran just gives us this power. So I thought, oh, we're gonna lose the power, and then we're gonna be stuck in the trial, and then right when we're about to be executed, we're gonna vanish into this space when Tigran returns, and we're gonna solve it, and we're gonna know the answer, and that's gonna somehow save us last minute for tension reasons. And I'm like, okay, that's how you write like a climactic, oh shit, scene that all plays out and where you win at the last second and so on. That's 101 stuff. That's always a good idea. This being a contrivance to get there is a bit much, but sure. But
we just met him too. Like he hasn't been here the whole novel.
Yeah, but now I'm realizing it's not setting that up because we still have the power. So
yeah.
So all we're losing is the person that doesn't tell us anything.
Mm-hmm.
So his absence doesn't. I don't even know what his connection does at that point. Then
it's just so once again like it's the emotional tension of like. We're supposed to like Tigran, so the idea of Tigran going away is supposed to make us, the reader, sad.
Yeah, it's like they're not really so much a character, like as a deity thing. Like they're mostly just like a lore dump, and like they have rules and constraints, but they don't really have a lot of personality and personal investment. And we don't really have like a relationship with them that would be close or emotional. We have at most a mechanical dependency on them of like, oh god, oh god, oh god, we're gonna die. But
then we don't.
Yeah, like the fact that we still have the power really confuses me. Because yeah, like the reason you would make Tigran leave is to be like, oh no, Richter's going into the trial now and he doesn't have the answer and he lost his power just now, would be how you ratchet up the tension. So him immediately verifying that he has the power makes me wonder why the whole scene's happening at that point. Winds of shimmering dust fly by at a speed similar to when I first arrived here, only reminding me of just how stressed I truly am. Tigran! I call their name, yelling it out into the tunnel, but I get no sign of their response. The winds only pick up slightly, and the echoing voices of the past flow by, sending chills through my body. I start to feel more and more aggravated as the situation settles in. If you can hear me, please come back. You don't need to take such drastic measures. Even if you do, we can talk about it more here, right? I feel like if Richter's gonna be this invested, we need a clearer picture of what the measures are.
We keep going back and forth. Do we like Tigran? Do we hate Tigran? Are we being manipulated? Is he helping us? And like, it keeps going back and forth for a lot of things right now, and it's a little frustrating.
But it's just like, I feel like we just need a clearer, more concrete, picture of what the sacrifice is and what it costs Tigran in less vague terms for us to be this invested. Otherwise, trusting the deity character to do the thing he's gotta do or whatever. Like, maybe, Gandalf wanders off a lot during The Hobbit and during Lord of the Rings and comes back stronger, and, he's a big tough wizard guy. He just goes through some shit. It's fine. I don't know, man. It's like we need a better idea. We need a stronger bond to Tigran, but also a stronger idea of exactly what's going to cost him if it's going to be this big of a deal. But I'm also like, I found it weird that Richter preemptively was thinking about not Alvarez. That's not his name. Alverton. Oh, right. I remember why I thought of Alvarez. I caught up with my own brain. I was autocorrecting because my brain kept thinking Albertsons, and I'm like, no. I don't remember there being. I don't remember us learning anything about a sacrifice during the Alverton flashback before, so apologies if I forgot. But it was weird that
I think all he said was that he was his first
avatar. Yeah. So it's like, it's weird that when the thought was coming up and like Tigran was going to broach the subject, but Richter was the one who's fixated on Alverton instead. And then he's thinking of the supposed sacrifice that Alverton had. And then he says, and then when Richter thought of Alverton, Tigran interpreted his thoughts and said, no, nothing like that. And I'm like,
like what?
Yeah, one, I don't know what Richter thought about what happened to Alverton, but two, from Tigran's perspective, it's exactly like Alverton, because you are doing the thing you did last time with Alverton, because he then went on to explain that is what you're doing. So it's just like, I feel like the author has a giant lore Bible, and it's all. There's a thing that I catch myself constantly when I'm trying to do video essays, is that like, it's very easy to leave unstated assumptions unwritten and not fully introduce everything from the ground up the way that you mean to the people that don't already know what's going on. Because you can obviously write things intentionally holding back details to create very intentional intrigue and so on. But when the goal is for them to understand something, it's also easy to not convey it fully because you already know what you mean and you've thought about this all so much, and then it's hard to go over the text and know if it actually accomplishes communicating it all directly. But like, in moments like this, I'm like, it gets really puzzling trying to get in the space of what each character's thinking and why. And it's one thing to not understand Tigran because they're literally meant to be a semi-unknowable deity thingy. But when whenever I don't understand what Richter means, that's when I'm like, wait, but I am Richter. So like, why don't I know what he means? It's akin to also like the thing of like him having complex feelings about his compatriots that he lost in the avalanche, and I'm like, wait, I should know that he has those complex feelings because I'm him. I'm largely basically him. Even if you do, can we talk about it more here? We can talk about it more here, right? Again, no response. The anger swells more and more inside me. Weeks of frustration have finally reached their boiling point. You stupid god! Vice, you dumbass! Stop making sense, you stupid book. Why can't you just tell me these things? Between your botched plan to farm our world and other gods' desire to watch it burn, I've had it up to here with everyone's shit.
What?
I don't remember what he means by that.
No, I don't either.
Right. He's gone back into ballroom mode. He's telling it like it is. He's laying down truths because he's Richter.
Did they lore dump the difference between him and the other gods? And this might have come up.
Yeah, I don't like. What do you mean, like watching it all burn? Was there like a conflict? Like I know that like Tigran was like scarred and like it.
Well,
like,
they said that it's implied that Tigran did something. His sacrifice saved our world, but the other gods were willing to let it all go to shit so they could start over. So it's Tigran is in some way a guardian of this world more than other people, which I guess kind of makes sense because we've got the idea that Tigran, like his little symbol, is obviously baked into this religion, and like again, it's similar to the cultural customs of this land. Like there's a lot clearly behind this religion that would imply a lot about what Tigran's role in the world really was, but we just haven't gotten any of that yet. Still.
Yeah. The wind picks up, but I stand firmly in place. If you want me to shoulder everyone's burdens, including yours, then just tell me. Explicitly not, Richter. They're doing a sacrifice on your behalf right now. So what are you talking about? I turn around, looking up and down the tunnel, trying to see if I can get any reaction from anyone. Nothing happens. Damn it all! Time to do some training, Richter. I lean forward in my seated position, lowering my head down toward my legs. I'm still able to use my power, right? I never said anything about me losing that. Is that not what we just verified?
Right. Our mind's eye is different than our vision scene, remember? Like,
that's so confusing. Even so, I don't think I have enough stamina. Any sense of a weight being lifted off my shoulders is now gone, as the numbing feeling of dread creeps down my neck. I squint my eyes, trying to concentrate on the vision in my mind. At night, I need to know who did it. Just a hint. Any hint that can give me a chance. Owie. Damn it. The vision comes across even messier this time, only granting me a slight visual. Everything's falling apart before my eyes. Every time I try to have a vision, it's like looking in a mirror before someone shatters it. Every time I get so much of a glimpse, the vision collapses and I'm thrown back into reality. Okay, so he doesn't have the power. Is he okay? Because I think he's
just too tired to really use it right now.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's got the power. It's just he like isn't focusing well enough.
It's just like based on the drama, you would think you'd take the power away right now. But it's just like his last thought was, "Do I even have the power anymore?" And then he slipped into the mind's eye, and I'm like, "Does this mean yes?" But then he just went back and thought it again, and then asked the question again, and now the answer's no. And I'm like, okay.
Cake, I'll feed you soon, I promise.
Are you getting pet aggro?
He's getting mad. Come here.
Controlling what I want has gotten easier. But seeing it has become more and more difficult with each day that passes. I lay down on my bed, trying to relax my body on the cold stone surface. A wave of exhaustion begins to overwhelm me. Laying there, staring at the ceiling, I contemplate falling asleep. Someone will be down here sometime today to drag me out of this cell. I don't know when, though, so might as well try to rest. I'm going to need as much energy as possible. For the past few days, all I've been doing is dwelling on the past, reaching out for a vision so close, yet so far away at the same time. For the first time in several days, I actually feel tired. Is it because Tigran's gone? No, I don't think that's the reason. They're not responsible for my stupid decisions. My strategy failed me, that's all there is to it. I haven't done anything. I haven't changed a bit. All the power I have, and all I can do is sit idly by. My eyes jolt open as the sound of metal clanking together brings me out of my sleep. I sit up and look over it to the doorway where I see a turnkey trying to open it. Oh, that's a turkey for a second there. I'm like, wait. New sprite? A feeling of dread washes over me. How long was I asleep for? I glance out the window and see that the sun is higher in the sky. It's most likely close to noon at this point. I had only been asleep for a short while. Cold air from the window wafts onto my body. Is it wafted or waft? I've never fucking remember.
Waft.
Waft. Neither of them. There's too many A's. It's basil,
Waft.
basil, basil all over again. I really
Tomato.
Really have a terrible time with the A letter lately. The cold air from the window wafts onto my body, and I wonder how I was able to sleep at all. I get up and move over to the other side of the cell. There's 2 turnkeys standing by the door. One of them is wrestling with the lock on the door while the other stands next to him, holding some cloth, shoes, and a bucket, with hot steam rising from the top. The first one was muttering some swears under his breath, while the other stands there silently, looking down at the ground. Behind them stands a castle guard. There's a strange amount of capitalization. He's a lynx, clad in basic armor with a large green cloth draped around his neck and shoulders. I'm throwing him like, why is turnkey not capitalized, but castle guard is capitalized? Like they're back and forth on the titles a lot in this game. The turnkey unlocks the door and it swings open, banging into the wall behind it. I don't really know what to do, so I just stand there, backed against the wall, looking at them. I'm still barely clothed, only wearing the pants from the ball. They're scuffed.
I meant to ask that, are we just naked?
Yeah, we've been wearing the trousers, and that's it. Ever since.
Got it.
Having a great time. I don't really know what to do is a very funny thought. It's like, even in a moment like this, being anxious about my body language, like, I don't know, what's the etiquette here? It's like,
How do I look normal?
I'm like, dude, you're being executed. But also same. They're scuffed and stained with mud, looking more like a rusty brown compared to the midnight black that they were that night. I look closer and realize that the bundle of cloth the turnkey is carrying looks like a pair of neatly folded clothes. Knowing that they're going to give me some clothes is a bit of a good feeling. I'd hate to be tossed before the throne as a dirty man in rags. Better to be a dirty man in clean clothes. However, the bucket of water might be to clean myself. I step into the cell, the first turnkey stepping off to the side, while the second one walks in, setting the clothes down. They'll silently stare at each other. It's a dare. He says this in a raspy voice which travels out from under his hood like a growl in a bear cave. Nailed it.
Still.
Perfect voice. Stand still. At first I don't understand what they intend.
I still had canon as the turkey.
Turkey. Then I watch as the silent turkey brings back the bucket and begins to heave it forward. Wait! I barely have any time to protest, let alone dodge as the hot water leaps through the air onto me.
That can't be the most effective way to do this.
No, it's very wasteful with the water. You just lob one bucketful at somebody. There, you cleaned. The initial shock is horrific as the heat surges over my body. Some of it gets into my mouth and it tastes salty. Phrasing. I throw myself back a bit, backing against the wall and blinking my eyes. Why would you do that? Neither of them respond. This is why the floor is so wet in here. After a few seconds, the feeling of pain goes away, and soon I'm just standing there, dripping from head to toe with warm water. I'm far from being warm myself, though, as the cold breeze rushes in through the window, blowing under my skin and sending goosebumps all over my exposed arms.
Turn around!
I look up, and the other turnkey is being handed a second bucket by the guard.
Turn around!
Reluctantly turning around, my body feels stiff, and I tilt my head downward, clenching the muscles in my neck, bracing for the impact of hot water on my back. It only takes a moment for the stinging wave of water to be thrown on me, trickling down my back and soaking my pants. A muddy puddle has formed on the ground around my feet. I don't really feel clean. The guard nods to the silent turnkey, and they walk forward, picking up the clothes and setting them on the bed. Those will
You
be
take this
sitting
one,
on the
Jericho.
bed for you once you're ready. Okay. Turnkey walks up to me and pulls a rough-looking sponge from the bucket. That was a strange bit of narration from the castle guard. Sets down the clothes. These will still be here in a moment after the sponging. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's... I have object permanence, it's okay. Before I can question them, they press it to my side and begin to sloppily scrub away at my skin. What? What are you doing? Stop. Stop it. They pull away and look at the guard. He frowns and looks at me. They need to clean you before you present yourself to the king. I don't know. I don't understand Richter's confusion here, honestly. Like, I understand being indignant or annoyed, but I don't understand being confused. Especially when he already had the thought that it's to clean him. Like,
in general, scenes like these, it's just like... I was very into at least some kind of momentum there, and it's like now we've once again preached to a halt to have medieval dungeon simulator. Yeah. But we just kind of talk through the process.
Yeah. As the guard says this, the turnkey picks up where they left off and continues to scrub. This is ridiculous. I'm not a pig being prepared for slaughter. I mean... I grab the sponge from their paw rather easily and throw it in the bucket. A small bit of water left in the bucket flies into the air, splashing on the ground in front of the guard's shoes. I'm perfectly capable of washing myself. I say this while glaring at him. He steps forward and reaches into the bucket, pulling the sponge from the bottom. Rising back up, he shoves it into my chest with a bit of force, gritting his teeth as I'm backed into the corner. Richter, honestly, the move was to keep the sponge if you were going to make a move of it. Throwing the sponge away was counterproductive. They're going to do their job and you're going to be quiet. Then, when they're done, we're going to escort you to the trial. They push harder into my chest, the metal of their gloves digging into my skin. Or I could bring you there now, naked and shivering like the pathetic worm you. His words escape him as his attention is drawn to the hallway. R. The rhythmic sound of steel clanking together travels up the hall, getting closer with each thud. Bjorn? I imagine the large bear trudging his way down the hall. I can feel my heart beating in my chest as the guard's fist presses me against the wall. I don't remember if Bjorn died.
No, he just was sick.
He had a heart attack.
He had a heart attack.
When he was standing in the doorway, I didn't realize how big he was. Lately, I've only been visited by people either around my height or much smaller than me, except for the horse, the last visitor that we mentioned. I grab his arm and push him off me with what little strength I have. I guess either the implication is that we've had more visitors since the horse, or that we forgot about the horse.
I did too.
I actually managed to make them stumble back, their full attention on the hallway. That snaps them out of it, however, as they push me harder into the wall, letting out a snarl. The person walking down the damp corridor now sounds like they're just a few cells down. Can't be Bjorn. Whoever it is, their footsteps are swift and quick. I thought they were describing the size of Bjorn, not the size of the castle guard. I got really disoriented here by who all the theys are. They actually seem to pick up the pace, too. Well, then it's Lyle. Maybe they'll stop this. My legs are shaking a bit as I stand there, pushed against the gritty wall of the cell. The two turnkeys standing off to the side of us, their paws clasped and their heads drooping. The repetitive noise of feet on dirty ground comes to a stop in the doorway. It's a disguise, no one will ever know. Lyle! He slides through the entrance, his tail stiff and shoulders high. Look at his one eye.
Oh yeah, he got ouchied.
Does he still have an eye patch? I guess, yeah.
Probably. I assume that's what he's trying to hide it from.
There's sort of an irony of getting another eye wound on top of the previous one.
Yeah, it's bad because I think it was
eye?
his good eye. I think the other eye is the one with the scar.
Oh no, he's got matching eye scars. It's symmetrical. He's wearing a helmet shaped at the head of a wolf with a large plume coming out on top. You don't have to tell us that the wolf's helmet is shaped like the head of a wolf. I don't. I'm sorry. I recall seeing it sitting on an armor rack in his room. Even in my dreams, it would rest there, collecting dust.
Lyle?
It's not picking it up. Out. I tried 3 times.
It takes a decade and a half to learn this YouTuber projection skill where you could do the voice and everything
Fucking
transmits. The 2 turnkeys walked to the door, one of them handing the ring of keys to Lyle. But I was just...
Leave now!
I've slid down the wall and fallen into a seated position, legs shaking slightly. Seeing him and hearing his voice is the biggest relief I've had in weeks. The castle guard walks to the doorway and stops next to Lyle. You're not even allowed down here, if I remember correctly. I can't read the expression on his face through the helmet, but Lyle only turns his head slightly, looking down at the links.
As the person who made the arrest, it's my duty to bring them to the trial. If you have a problem with it, bring it up with your commander. I'm sure he'd love for you to waste his time with such questions.
The guard clenches his fist and scoffs. You'll be needing these, then. The guard drops a pair of shackles into Lyle's paw. Lyle leans in, his voice brought down to a quiet tone.
Oh, and if I ever catch you pushing around prisoners again, I'll make sure your commander has you shoveling shit in the stables for weeks.
This is his job. What else does he do?
I think he means, like, the rough treatment of it all.
But under Raynar's rule, everything would be really cool and...
It's like, yeah, I know that you're, like, I know that you're accused of killing someone, but we're still going to treat you as a person.
Yeah. I don't know, this doesn't feel that out of line, getting sponge bathed. When you're already, like, if you're in a dungeon, and you're going to be up for trial for execution, of all things, I'm like, it just doesn't seem strange that they would, like, forcefully sponge bath you and then put you in clothes, and then that's, like, it just wasn't that, you know what I mean, right? Like, it's just, like, I don't love it, but I'm like, this doesn't seem like a noose crossing a line to me. Understood. After that, the guard walks off in a huff. Lyle turns his head away from the door and looks down at me. As I hear the guard's footsteps trail off in the distance, I find it hard to get any words out of my mouth. For a few moments, we both just stay in place, motionless. The only thing moving is Lyle's tail, as it twitches from side to side. I apologize for the smell. What's with the helmet? Suddenly, he launches himself towards me, throwing the shackles to the side and falling to his knees. He takes me in his arms, wrapping them around me tightly. His body gives off a comforting warmth, then there's even a faint smell of coconut.
Aww.
I just sit there and let him hug me, my body in shock. After a few seconds, I hug him back, his fur rubbing against my face.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I can feel him shaking slightly, and I even hear him sniffle. What are you apologizing for? You better not be apologizing on behalf of that moody king. The shaking continues, but he quickly starts to laugh.
I've missed you, Richter. It's only been a couple weeks, but it feels like ages.
The big burn being calling him moody is very funny.
Mm.
Just gets that
All
way.
I could do every day was wonder how you were getting by. You were constantly on my mind.
He pulls back, planting his paws on my shoulders and looking down at me through his helmet. I can sort of see his eyes behind the visor, big and concerned. Eyes, though? I look down, several emotions overwhelming me all at once. Embarrassment, happiness, sadness. I can tell I'm blushing without even looking in a mirror. My face feels hot, and the rest of my body is chilly. The water from that bucket bath drips from the tips of my hair onto the ground. Lyle's armor has to be gross. Now. They didn't successfully bathe him.
They didn't dry us off. We're just covered in...
He's covered in like gross 3 weeks of grime suds from being doused, and then Lyle in his white armor with white fabric just hugged us, and I'm like, this is like a us-shaped print on him now.
Like a bird against a window.
I look back up at Lyle, and he's still letting out nervous chuckles.
I like your hair. You look kind of cool with it down like that.
Even through his helmet, I can tell he's forcing a smile. Before I know it, tears begin running down my cheeks. It feels good, though. He takes me in his arms again, and we both silently sit there, hugging. I sob into his chest for what seems like a few minutes. The thing that messes with me the most is the fact that I'm just now realizing how much I missed him. No, we just had a whole scene about how much you missed him. We spent a lot of this session on that topic. I'd see him in my dreams and in some visions, but through it all, most of the time he felt like he was just there. Any emotions I would get were just drowned in other feelings and thoughts. Holding him in my arms helps quell my doubts. Having him here by my side is just pure bliss. After a couple more minutes, I pull away and look up at him. They have a lot of patience outside right now. So many minutes of waiting. I've missed you so much, Lyle. He lowers his head.
I really did never stop thinking about you. Not for a moment.
He leans back in a sitting position, his tail swishing across the floor like a broom. I raise up my hands and grasp the sides of his helmet. Are they making you wear this for the special occasion?
No, all of the royal guards have to wear these, actually. Only on certain occasions, though.
So yes, the answer is yes.
I'm sick of all the opposites every single time.
They don't really answer each other's questions in this story very much. Like you said,
I love contradictions.
The answer is literally yes. He wrings his paws nervously, and I brush my hand through the fur on his neck. Can you let me take it off? I want to see your handsome face. I begin to lift the helmet, and he quickly brings his paws up to my hands to stop them. His paws stay there for a moment, and he lets out a sigh. I lower my hands, and he removes his helmet.
Oh, poor baby.
What I see
next...
Yeah,
you're right, that was his good eye.
Yeah. What I see next makes my stomach twist into knots. Is he just still swollen over days later, or is his eye removed, I wonder?
Like a week later, yeah.
Swollen shut. It's closed downwards.
Yeah. It's a fish. It looks
the
really...
shading makes it look like it's going inward.
Yeah, it looks concave. How long does that last for? Hasn't it been like a week?
I'm gonna bring the scene to my ophthalmologist on Tuesday and ask them what they think. No, I'm just kidding. It could last.
He has a black eye.
If he's got an infection, for sure.
Unlike his normal fur color. It's swollen to the point where he can barely open it. Oh my god. I take his face in my palm and caress it. Oh, there we go. Alright. He's doing alright.
Poor baby.
I'm afraid my dedication to both the sword and the arts has left me middling in both.
I gently rub my hand across his face, making sure not to cause him any pain. I start to get angry, knowing that this is all probably because of me. That's nonsense. Everyone says you're a gifted swordsman. What actually happened?
You'll learn all about it during the trial.
Did you get into a fight with someone? Did someone attack you? He lowers his head in shame.
All you need to know is that it was Bjorn, and he's in worse shape than I am.
Given that you're on the same side, I feel like you would want to confide in each other and know all the details about what happened.
Wait, I was like, are they outside, like, waiting for us, by the way?
Before you have to get all that information through the filter of the trial, you know? Bjorn attacked you? And you won? Sometimes everyone loses.
Yeah.
I mean, Bjorn suffered the worst consequences, but he definitely won the fight. He doesn't lift his head, still looking down at his lap.
Really? I lost the duel.
That doesn't make much sense. I'm confused. Why would Bjorn be in worse shape? Because he's old.
He was out for blood, and I didn't want either of us to die, so...
I did my super secret heart attack technique.
He pauses, the words catching in his throat. This is a good example of why it's so ineffective to be like, all you need to know is this, don't worry about it. You learn in the trial, and then immediately like, well, time to have to explain it anyway, because someone's going to have follow-up questions.
Yeah. I don't really want to talk about it if that's okay. Fight itself wasn't too important.
I'm about to protest when an all too familiar noise echoes from outside the window.
Oh my god, look at his face.
Look at his eye.
Poor baby.
The bell starts to toll, the noise bouncing off the walls outside and filling the cell with a reverberating noise. I look back up at Lyle, and he's staring out the window too. He seems nervous, almost frozen in place, and I don't blame him. It's finally begun.
I'll tell you about it later.
There's so many different
at the trial.
eye widths.
After we prove your innocence.
Oh, that's not gonna happen. He stands
Wait, what do you
up
mean
from
after? You just said you were going to tell me at the trial.
Yeah, he moved the goalpost already. He stands up from a seated position and holds out his paw.
It'll be better if you arrive as soon as possible.
I take his paw, and he pulls me to my feet. You're right. I look down at my body, filthy and dripping with water, the seat of my pants covered with mud. You've made no progress, guys. Picking up the sponge and bucket, I turn to Lyle, who's examining his helmet. If it's alright, I just need a few minutes to...
Girl, the bells are tolling.
Yeah, you really wasted your time here. You spent 10 minutes hugging and crying, so...
I'll be out in the hall if you need me. Just roll around in the puddle on the floor like the dirty little piggy you are, and...
Starts flopping like a fish in the puddle. Okay. Probably going to be the cutoff point for now. All right, this has been.
I thought we were going to get through the trial today, and we didn't even reach it.
We could do it. We could commit.
I've got a.
Depends on Jeri's.
Yeah, I don't think Jericho. Has
I got an angry cat and a full bladder.
What a combination!
Lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels.